Hello, my name's Bob Weaver. I live in southeastern Oklahoma, and I'm a rancher. We we run a registered purebred limousine herd. We've done that for a little over 40 years, and we've made a lot of mistakes along the way, and we've learned a lot of different things. Learned a lot of different things about cattle. There is cowboys, which you go to the rodeo to see. There are people that have cattle, and then there are cowmen. I like to think of myself as a cowman. Been around them long enough. I was raised with them. My granddaddy he ran cattle. My dad ran cattle, and I have picked up the knowledge from them and added a lot to my own. We do a lot of work. We hire very little work. It's kind of a one-man show around here. I'm the owner, the manager, and the laborer, which means I do more labor than I do owning and managing. The amount of land that we own is close to 600 acres. My granddaddy bought this place when he moved up here from Texas in the late 1800s and bought the property in somewhere in the 19 teens. We do qualify, I haven't ever sent in the paperwork, but we do qualify for a Centennial Ranch here in the state of Oklahoma, which is kind of a prestigious thing that it's been owned by one family for over 100 years. I'm proud of the fact that I've been able to continue their tradition, do the things that they have done. However, since the 19 teens and the 2020s, there's a lot of changes, a lot of things that we do differently, a lot of different management practices, a lot of better care of the animals, and there we go. My granddaddy died when I was 12 years old. My dad took the place over, and my granddaddy had a little over 1,600 acres at the time, and by the time it got split up, between my dad and his brother, and then me and my brother, I've wound up with about almost 600 acres. The land has changed because back in the 1919s, you just used the land. Now, that's not to say that you abused it, but you did use it. We do take a lot more care to it. We try to control weeds. We put fertilizer out. We've improved pastures. We cleared some timber and made that into pasture land. It's just common sense stuff that we do. The kind of work that goes into a cattle ranch is, it's everything from building fence, repairing fence, taking care of the cattle, baling hay, hauling hay, even down to here at the house, even mowing the yard. We do a lot of different things. We feed in the wintertime or daily. And that, there's drudge work that we do. We raise a few show heifers. We raise bulls that we sell at the market by private treaty. Animals have gone from this place to regionally, where we've sold animals into Arkansas, into Missouri, into Kansas, into Texas. Never have gone, we've even sold bulls into New Mexico, and I'm really surprised that as dry as it is, but they say that cattle do well even in the dry climate and having to travel so far for feed. My granddad and my dad, they started out running just a cow calf, you stick a bull out there with the calf and let them do the natural thing. We had harvest the calves at weaning time when they get so big and haul them to the stockyards and market them. I got interested in purebred cattle back in the 1980s, and so I kind of transitioned from a commercial cow herd to a purebred herd. So we put up, we select bull calves at weaning time. We go through a selection process that we look at how big they've grown, how well they've grown. We look at their disposition. We look at their color. We look at their phenotype, which means their physical appearance. We look at their mamas to see if their mamas have been historically good producers for us, and we try to keep females out of the good cows, the good producing cows. When I was a kid, I think I liked to roam the woods. I've spent a lot of times in the woods. I like to ride horses. I've probably got a 1,000,000-mile pin on horseback. I always liked working cattle, and it was an entirely different process back then. We'd get the cattle in a corral, and we would rope them, throw them down, and castrate them, give them their vaccinations, and turn them loose. And I always liked that. I always liked the rough and tough stuff. Then when my granddad, that's the way he liked to do it. When my dad took it over, we invested in some alleyways and some smaller pens and a squeeze chute. So it was always my job to be back there with the calves, push them down the chute. Someone else done the vaccination and the castration. But I always liked that. One thing that has changed on the place is that when I was a kid, every cow had a set of horns on her. Now we've gone into the pole or hornless cattle, and I can't remember the last time we had to dehorn a cow to cut their horns off. We do it all genetically now. We AI a lot of cattle. We have done some embryo transfer, which is getting a multiple calf out of one cow a year, and that's real expensive. And we done it 2 or 3 years, and got some pretty good calves, but it's just too expensive to do. But we do a lot of artificial insemination, and we are very selective at the bulls, the cleanup bulls. Cleanup bull, that's a term that maybe a lot of you might not know, is that when we artificially breed a cow, that's no guarantee that she's going to get pregnant. There's a pretty small window when you put a straw semen in a cow as to if she will get pregnant or not. And what we do on this place is we breed them one time artificially and then turn them out with the cleanup bulls, which anybody that doesn't get pregnant, well, he'll get them pregnant for us. So we try to keep a calving window of 75 days, which from the time the first calf is born to the time the last calf is 75 days. We have had it tightened down as low as 45 days, which makes your cattle more uniform and more marketable. The feelings about this kind of work, it's a labor of love. In order to be a rancher or a farmer, you have to enjoy what you're doing. I retired when I was 58 years old, and I did this type of work. I got it into the purebred cattle for the last 20 years I worked. And it's got to be a labor of love. You have to enjoy cattle. You have to enjoy being around them. Even though I've visited with my grandson, and he said, the term I use is crazy cow, or stupid. And Cattle are not brilliant critters. My favorite time of messing with cattle is calving time. Very few things on this earth that brings me more joy than a baby calf. We found one a couple of days ago that the cow got into a mud hole, and the calf I don't know that it was born dead, but it was dead. It was in the mud hole, didn't have enough strength to get up, and flopped over, and that's a heartbreaker. It really breaks my heart to see a baby calf, something happen to it. Now, none of my children, I raised 4 daughters, none of my children care anything about carrying this on, so, I'm thinking that this might, it might end with me. So, I don't know. It's kind of a sad thing that it is, but, this is my dream, this is what I do, not their dream and not what they do. I've been real pleased with my life. I've graduated from high school, went to college, went into the Army, spent my time in the Army. Didn't want anything to do with it when I got out of the Army. Didn't want anything. This was my dad, and it was his dream. But as I got a little older, I'd lived and worked in Oklahoma City for 5 years, and it came to me, it just kind of grew on me. I guess I matured that, I don't want to live in a city. I don't want to raise my kids in a city. I want to be raised out in the country where I'm not afraid for them to walk down the block because they might not get back. I wanted them to be able to go out and play and roam and climb trees and play in the dirt, and do the things that you're free to do on a farm. Now, there's a statistic out there that the average age of the farmers and ranchers in the United States is in the 70s. And I understand that because, the work is long and hard, a lot of drudgery in it, not much excitement. Now, there is excitement and it excites me, but every day is not full of excitement. It's a lot of drudge work, a lot of hard work, and I understand people not wanting to do that. It's hard, and with the amount of money that you have invested and your return on it, you just gotta love to do it.